There is no sign of relief for Paytm and Vijay Shekhar Sharma just as yet. Days after that very crucial damning RBI order on 31st of January, we are now given to understand ED, the Enforcement Directorate, has knocked on the doors of Paytm, and this, of course, with respect to the allegations that RBI is making, Kartik, some very serious allegations, of course, of what could have happened when it comes to compliance issues at Paytm, but RBI hinting at the fact that there is more to it than meet the eye, and now ED knocking on Paytm's doors.
I mean, what we know right now only through reports, and these are source-based reports which have been printed in some daily
either
publications.
From Paytm or from ED.
Yeah, so some papers, in fact, including the Mint on its front page today, carried this story about the ED, in fact, already having initiated preliminary investigations into the Paytm Payments Bank matter. Now, what does that matter specifically pertain to my mind, is still largely in the realm of either some news items which get derived from sources, or perhaps some connecting of the dots. But ED comes in.
Is the news laundering, money laundering allegation.
So ED comes in when you're really talking about money laundering, or when you're talking about FEMA, foreign exchange violations. So yeah, I mean, if reports are to be believed, though, the RBI thus far has not categorically mentioned money laundering even once. Neither did it mention that in its order, which was released on the 31st of January. All it mentioned was persistent non-compliance as the issue. Now, non-compliance, to my mind, is very different from money laundering. Even in the press conference immediately after the Monetary Policy Committee meet, the RBI governor and the deputy governors did not mention money laundering even once. However, the RBI can take help from investigative agencies like the ED, including the ED, as the case may be, depending on what they have told each other, what is the information sharing that has happened between the two agencies, which is the RBI and the Enforcement Directorate. Now, money laundering as a broad subject is not something that the RBI directly looks into. At the same time, at a group level, parent level, 197 communication is not really regulated by the RBI. It is a listed entity, it is regulated by SEBI. RBI only regulates the Paytm Payments Bank business, and the order was very specific to Paytm Payments Bank. So now, just trying to connect the two dots, was non-compliance one of the root causes which may have led to, or have the potential to lead to, money laundering? Could be one of the dots being connected, or two of the dots being connected, when you take this news of ED investigations into Paytm Payments Bank. But beyond that, I think it is difficult at this moment to very objectively comment on whether there would have been instances of either foreign exchange violation or money laundering. However, in the same light…
But a lot of speculation obviously on what RBI meant when it said persistent non-compliance. And one of the allegations, of course, was perhaps there were dormant accounts, and there were accounts linked to multiple accounts, and people who were not expected to be in the banking system, or people of interest, or people with political interest, were a part of Paytm, were using Paytm as a medium. But all of that was speculation. Could that have instigated or propelled ED to perhaps start an investigation on its own?
I don't think unilaterally ED is going to start an investigation. There has to be some message from the RBI. There has to be some sort of, a formal communication from the RBI. Interagency communication, getting the ED kick-started on this investigation. But RBI's concern with persistent non-compliance, and this is something RBI has stated time and again, has been in the interest of users of Paytm Payments Bank, or customers of Paytm Payments Bank.
Not so much corporate governance issues.
And it doesn't seem to be… corporate governance, yes. Corporate governance, again, on the back of non-compliance of statutory, regulatory, laid down rules of operations. But beyond that, money laundering is not something which the RBI is directly required to look into. But as part of RBI's own initiated audits, if there have been red flags, then those red flags and that information would have been shared with ED, and hence ED would perhaps get enrolled into the investigation. The statement, again quoted in the Mint today by by the reporter who's filed the story in the Mint, quotes Paytm official spokespersons suggesting that Paytm is going to comply with an investigation of any manner, including the Enforcement Directorate. So that court specifically does not either confirm or deny an ED knock on Paytm's doors.
All right, but as far as that crucial February 29th order is concerned, we now know for a fact that RBI is not going to relent anytime soon. RBI governor again and again coming on record to suggest there is not going to be any review or a look back on that.
But I think that FAQ,
order,
which is likely to be released this week, is still awaited. So hopefully, once that comes in, we may have more clarity. What has also happened, interestingly, Shweta, in the same sort of mess that Paytm finds itself in right now, is that on 1st of February, there was this conference call between the management of Paytm and its investors, wherein it was suggested that by 14th of February, which is today, there is going to be a reinitiation of the loans, the lending business of Paytm Payments Bank. Not the Paytm Payments Bank exactly, but the lending business of the fintech company Paytm was supposed to restart from the 14th of February. There hasn't been any news on whether that lending business is going to restart. Now, reports are also suggesting that there is no direct linkage between Paytm Payments Bank and its lending arm. However, there are merchants who have taken loan from Paytm which have an auto pay facility linked to their Paytm Payments Bank. So, those auto debit or auto pay EMIs could get hampered post the 29th of February. If there is no money coming into that account, how do merchants continue paying back their EMIs through that account? So at some level, there is going to be a rewiring of accounts, and these nodal accounts will have to change.
The loan account and
absolutely, because the exposure as of December quarter, in fact, within the December quarter, the kind of exposure Paytm had in its lending business was upwards of 15,000 crore rupees. And there are as many as 1.25 crore unique users who have taken loans of some form from Paytm.
And Paytm stock today is down at record low, 9.5%. It's been taking a beating for a while now, well below the 300 rupee a stock mark. But Paytm obviously continue to battle a barrage of allegations and a series of perhaps fresh news items that are coming in, trickling in, not very favorable for Paytm at the moment.